Hello, I'm Jacqui Robertson-Wade and I teach and play the viol, and I publish music for the viol in Rondo Publishing. I started Rondo Publishing in 2005 with the first viol tutor that I wrote, Viol Player, Book 1. I thought it might be useful to share my experience of fretting viols because I've come to my viol this morning and one of my frets is slightly loose. So I thought this would be a good thing to do. So you can see it's wiggling around here. So if you haven't got any fretting gut, it doesn't matter, because you can use your old strings. And when I worked for the County Music Service, we had about 40 viols which needed refretting from time to time. So I kept my fretting gut in a little book that says fretting gut, with each of the gradients coming down from 1 to 0.5 or something like that. So, and you can see here that they're labelled, but also they are old strings. So I've got my old string, my old top string here from my bass, which is a 0.7. So the gauges of the fretting gut will vary from the nut here downwards. They get thinner. So my luthier of this viol, Bob Eland, sent me the fret sizes, which you can see start with a 0.95 and go down in increments of 0.5. But you don't have to do it like that. You can have 3 of the same fret, 3 size here, and then you can have another 2 and another 2. So it depends what strings you've got, what spare strings, but you can get fretting gut in different gauges from Bridgewood and Lightset and the Early Music Shop. So what happens if you don't know what your first fret is? What's the gauge of it? So the best thing to do is just try and test it on the first fret. So I'm going to take a piece of 0.9 gut and put it round, thread it through here. If it'll go. Under the strings, of course, not on top of the strings. Thread it through once and thread it through again. So if you take your thickest bit of gut that you've got, if you don't know this measurement, there, I put it through twice and I've got it quite tight now. And oh dear, that hasn't worked. Try again, top string underneath the fret. Okay, so you can see here now, I've got that fret there, and it should that hasn't worked. That's obviously too thick for it. Can you hear? That's catching on the top string there, and that's a test to see whether it works, and it doesn't. So obviously this 0.9 here, I've got something thinner than 0.95. It's not working. So let's go down a fret and see if that one works on the next one. And this is where my loose fret is. That does work. So that says I can use that one for my second fret. Okay. The most important tools you need for this job: a pair of toenail clippers or nail clippers and a lighter or a soldering iron. A lighter is easier than matches. You need too many hands if you want to do it with matches. So let's start from the beginning then. So I've got my fretting gut, and I know it's the right size because it's not buzzing. So I'm going to take my clippers and cut the fret off the side here. Being careful not to damage the wood, obviously. Yeah, I might try it round by the nut, that might be slightly easier. I think these nail clippers might be slightly blunt. Oh, that's better. Try it round that side. Nearly there. Normally it works a bit quicker than that. That's it. Right, so I've got that one off. So I'm going to turn it round so that you can see what I'm doing. So, this is a fret knot that Marion Atwood showed me years and years and years ago, and it's easy to get tight. So I'm going to thread, I've got the end of this fretting gut here, and I'm going to thread it through under the strings with a bit of luck. Once, round the back, and again. Here. Yes. So you can see there I've got a double fret and I've got the end here. So I'm just going to turn the viol round now so I can hold it between my knees. And then the end that I threaded through, I'm going to burn. No, I'm not. I'm going to do a knot in it first. Forgot that bit. So I'm just going to do a simple loop. I don't know if you can see this. A simple loop. I'm going to get this slightly closer, actually. A simple loop, and then just put the string through the loop, and then I've got a loop with the end. Now I'm going to burn the end, and because it's gut, it'll sizzle. And there you can see that it's slightly wider at the end where it's burnt, and it's quite near the knot. It's about 1/2 centimetre away from the knot, from the loop. So this is the end that I threaded through. I'm just holding a bit of card here so you can see that there's the loop on the end, and it's slightly wider where I burnt it. So that's the end that was threaded through. So at this stage, it's almost like you've got to have 5 hands. This is the end I threaded through here. And if you turn your viol round to face you, it's a lot easier. You can hold it between your knees. So the other end of the fretting gut, you're now going to thread through your loop. Like this. So you want to make sure when you're threading it through that you don't get crossing of the fret on the front. You want the cross to be on the back. It has to cross. Now what I've done, I've threaded that through and I'm tightening it. And as I tighten it, can you see it's going towards the knot to the end of the knot, and the more I tighten it, the closer to the knot it will get. Now, if you notice, I'm doing this so it's close to the first fret. And then what I'm going to do, when I've cut the fret, I'm going to move it down. But at the moment, it needs to be a bit tighter. So I'm going to turn the viol round so I can see what I'm doing. And as you can see, it's really nice to get all your knots lined up if you can. And I just tighten that a bit now. And there is the crossy bit. If you have that crossy bit on the front, it'll make your strings buzz. So I'm going one side, pulling it one way, then pulling it on the other. Can you see that's getting closer to the end there where I burnt it? And I think we're nearly there actually. That's pretty close to that one. So now I've cut that off, and I'm now going to burn it without setting light to the viol. And I'm just going to do that by moving the viol in a different direction and getting clearance for the flame. And it's just burning slightly. Now, when it's cool, I'm going to wait for it to cool down. You can then move the fret down. If you do it while it's warm, it will remove some of the varnish. So with my fingers on both sides of the fret, I'm going to just gradually move it down. One side, then the other. And it's just holding the knot together, which keeps it tight. Right, that looks like it's in the right place as the old one, but obviously I've got to tune it yet. And that's just about lined up with the other one. Crossed on the back. And probably needs a bit flat at the moment, so I will sharpen it and do it with a box. Tend to tune the open strings and then tune the fret on all strings. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this session. It's quite a difficult thing to show on a camera, but I think I'll just go through it with you again, what I did at the beginning. So, piece of fretting gut underneath the strings, thread it through the strings. Round the back, thread it through again. And the end bit that you threaded through, you then knot, do a little loop. So if I just put that there, you can see the loop. And then I've just threaded it through the loop, a simple knot. Now I'm going to move the knot further down the string. Like so, so it's about 1 centimetre. Then I'm going to burn the gut. Just a little bit. When we did this in school, was quite an adventure, really, as you can imagine. Kids love refretting. Anyway, one thing actually about treble viols, if the frets are really loose and you haven't got a lot of time, if you take off the 7th fret, the one here, and it depends really how loose they are, but you'll be surprised how far they will stretch. You take off the 7th one and you move everything down and then replace the top fret, and that's a really quick way of making your frets nice and tight on the treble. So this is the end I threaded through, knot and burn. Then I'm taking the other end of the fretting gut and I'm threading it through the loop, and then I'm just pulling it. So it's only the tension of pulling the string that actually keeps it on the fingerboard. Pulling it like this, and I'm doing it next to the fret above, and then I'm going to push it down at the end. So I'm going to make it tighter here. Obviously I don't need to do this one because I've already done it. There, tighter there, snip it off, burn it again, Bob's your uncle. Well, I hope you felt that was useful, and let me know how you get on, and good luck with your fretting. Thank you very much.